Teacher James Rissy and Principal Jared Vickers. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Nice to see you. School out yet for summer?
Friday's our last day.
Is any learning actually happening?
I'm trying. It gets harder and harder as the end approaches here, but yeah, we're still going.
Awesome. Well, you know, this was, I guess, the return to normal year, but really for most of the year we're still with masks, all the social distancing, and of course we still have COVID in our community. Is the feeling that as the year's gone on, you've seen things get back to the way it was?
Yeah, we've started to get back to normal. We're really looking at next year as our first normal year, because early in the year numbers were still up a little bit in the mask and stuff like that. So didn't quite feel as normal as it used to. So we're looking forward to next year.
And we invited James here today because he is the featured teacher in the Walton Insurance Group's Good Things Going Teacher of the Month. Congratulations.
Yeah, that was great.
How long have you been a teacher at Western?
Just finished up my 17th year at Western, and I did a couple years before that in other districts, so I'm about 20 years in.
Jared, what do you like about having James on your team?
I appreciate his creativity, what he brings to the classroom. Like I mentioned in the video, he delivers content in a way that students oftentimes don't even realize that they're learning, and he relates it to real life situations, which is what we need to do in education, is how does this information apply to life after high school, even if you're going into the science or not, because science is everywhere around us, and that's what I appreciate about him. And what I hear students when they talk about him and what they like about Mr. Rissy is just how he delivers the content. He could lecture to you for a full hour and you leave there and not even realize that he was lecturing to you. So it's really neat to stop by his classroom and listen to him and how he delivers that. He has a true talent of being able to do that.
Awesome. It sounds kind of like my science classes when I was in high school. I listened for a full hour, and when it was over, I didn't realize anything happened. That's not a good thing.
No, I tried to do that in a good way.
You mentioned the video. There is a video. It's on the Good Things Going Facebook page, and we have a clip of that video. Let's take a look.
I haven't met someone that doesn't like Mr. Rissy. Like, I really haven't. He's very unique in the way that he teaches. He is very good at communicating with students. He makes it really fun. It might not seem like it, but you know, he does a lot of lecture notes, which is really surprising. You know, a lot of students think, oh, lecture notes, it's not very fun, but I mean, he keeps it really upbeat. You know, he's always up writing on the board. He's always making stories that go along with what he's doing, like real life stories that he's had an experience with everything, and it really keeps students tuned in to what he's talking about.
I took anatomy and AP biology with him in high school. So I was blessed to have him for two different years. And he definitely just inspired this love of learning, especially learning in the sciences as well, and just made it fun and engaging. And so I actually went on to get my bachelor's in biology. And so when people ask me, you know, like, why did I go and pursue this? A huge part of it is I'll go back to, oh, I took these classes back in high school, and you know, they had a really big impact on me. But then something else that I also really loved about Mr. Rissy is it wasn't just about the classroom either. He would do these life skills, I believe, once a month or so, you know, and just teaching us even just these little tidbits or pieces of advice for the future.
What always sticks with me is the students that come back and have told me that I'm going into the science field because of Mr. Rissy. That's why we get into education, is to be able to spark that interest and get that next generation excited about a content area. And who knows, goes on to be the next doctor, you know, and cures cancer or whatever. But, you know, it all started in Mr. Rissy's classroom and his delivery of the content. That's really what makes Mr. Rissy so unique and exceptional.
I've been doing this for a long time, and you know, I went to teacher school at one of the best teacher schools. I knew all the tactics and things you're supposed to do and not supposed to do in front of a classroom. And over the years, I just figured out that my teaching style is unusual and not usually very successful, but it works for me, and I get really great feedback from my kids. I think kind of my guiding philosophy is I want kids to walk out of my classroom smarter than they walked in every day. Like that's always been my guiding philosophy, because I think where people make mistakes in teaching is they try to teach high school students like they're some weird animal or something that is totally different than regular humans. They're just people. Like, they just don't want their time wasted. And if you're willing to do the work to not waste their time every day, it's hard, but like if you're actually there to do the goal and do it the right way, and you're not trying to waste their time every day, and you're not just trying to keep them busy, you're actually trying to teach them stuff, they'll do work for you. They're just people. Like, they'll work for you if they don't feel like their time is being wasted.
He is very one-to-one almost, because you can ask any question and he'll be willing to answer it all the time. He's, you know, we go on rants about random stuff all the time, and it's just he makes it seem like he's just talking to you. I really don't know how he does it, but he's just really good at it.
Just an outstanding person, outstanding teacher. Sometimes I find myself when I'm walking the halls, I walk by his room and he's lecturing, I find myself stopping and standing outside the door and listening to the lecture. So it might be on genetics, which a lot of people might not think that's exciting, but I stand there and he's tying it to real life situations. And next thing I know, it's 10 minutes later, and I'm still standing there listening to him. But just the way he delivers the content, he pulls the students in, his imagination, the projects that he does.
I just really hope that I've made a difference to somebody, that you know, I know not everybody's going to go off and go be a veterinarian or a doctor or a nurse practitioner or whatever. I know that not everybody's going to go off and do stuff in my area, but everybody's alive their whole life. And everybody is going to have sick relatives and children, and they themselves get sick. And like, understanding basics of biology and how your body works, and you know, whose advice should I trust, and how can I tell if a medical professional is trustworthy? Like, I think that's all useful information for everybody, not just people that are going to go off and like major in the stuff I teach. So I think in a lot of ways I got lucky with the subject matter I teach. I think it's always applicable to everybody, whether they're going to do this for a living or not.
I'd say I'm excited for Western High School and just how they send people out into the world. And just the way that they prepare people. I'm excited that they are no longer just pushing for college for everybody. I think so many people have different paths ahead of them, and there are different types of intelligence and different types of specialties, you know, and skills that everybody has. And so I think that's something that Western is like going towards too, and just like, it's not all about one goal, but it's okay, what's your goal and how can we best help you achieve that?
I like that I'm given enough autonomy in my classroom that I feel like I can experiment. I feel like I have the freedom to try things, and if it just goes totally flat, that's okay. Like, I know not to do that one again, and I appreciate my building administration, my district administration. They've always been very supportive with, go ahead and try it, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I've always liked that at Western, I feel like the community supports me. I get donations all the time. I've got parents that work in dentist's office or at the hospital or whatnot, and they're always giving me things they can't use that I definitely can use in a science classroom, and that's always nice. Not to mention the community financially supports the district. We just passed our bond again, and that's huge. It's nice to know that you're going to be in a place where they're going to be able to support the educational mission, and that they're looking forward to the future. And I see the folks that are supporting our district have just been consistent in their support of all of us. It means a lot to be in a district where the people care. They really do.
That's cool. The teacher of the month actually here right now. Jim, one of the things that video did not show was what you guys are doing in that lab. What was happening?
They did a really nice job with the editing. We were dissecting cats that day. We finished the year with like a 3-week cat dissection, and that was deep into the 3rd week, so those cats were very dissected, but he did a nice job of editing out the stuff that people really don't want to see.
16 years, teaching in the same school, for the most part, the same classes. How's you keep it fresh? You know, what gets you excited about coming to work?
I like that my subject matter is relevant and important to everyone, I think. It's nice to know how your own body works. I've always found that it's not hard to get a student's interest in biological science, especially because everybody's curious about how their own self works, and that's a fun subject to teach. And I still think it's fun. Even I've been teaching for 20 years now, I still think it's fun and exciting to watch kids understand how their own body works. So I find it exciting, and if I'm finding it exciting, they think it's exciting, and it all seems to work. So,
when did you decide you wanted to be a teacher?
Oh man, I went to college the wrongest way possible and tried majoring in just about everything. It took me a long time to get out, but late in my college experience, I was pre-med amongst many other majors that I tried in college, but I was pre-med, and part of my pre-med classes was going and teaching a lab section to incoming freshmen in college. And I got up there in front of this lab section and was showing them what to do and how to do science correctly, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, this feels, for the first time in college, this feels right, like I'm built to do this. And it was kind of like an aha moment, and from there on out I thought, well, I'll go into teaching and see how that fits, and it's fit very well. I really like what I do.
It doesn't surprise me at all, because it seemed like, as I watched in the video, it seemed like you were a scientist who became a teacher.
I think that's accurate, yeah. Yeah, my dad was an engineer. I grew up doing cars and stuff, and kind of an extension of that is he was always good at showing me how things worked, and I think I just kind of picked up on that, and showing people how things work, that's what I feel like I'm good at.
Tell us a little bit about your family outside of your life outside of the high school.
Oh, okay. I live over in Marshall with my wife and my daughter and my son. I have my daughter's going to be a senior in high school next year, which is a little scary for me. My son's going to be an 8th grader next year, which is also kind of, he's head of the middle school now, so that's a big deal. But yeah, I love spending time with my family. I'm looking forward to the summer here. Yeah, it's worked out well working in Jackson. I like having a little bit of separation between my workspace and my home space, and that part's nice. So
nice. Well, we are last week of school. So, Dr. Vickers, what's Western schools like during the summer?
Busy. You'd think there would be a letdown with activity, but athletics gets going with the strength and conditioning during the summer, summer league basketball, baseball, softball is going on. So a lot of different activities. Then band camp starts up the last week in July. So there's really, the week of July 4th is probably the only week where the parking lot will be empty. The rest of the summer it's nonstop.
It's probably nice to have a teacher that, on the team for 16 years. This is typically a time where there's some turnover. Are you looking for new teachers at Western?
Yep, we're interviewing for a math and science teacher, looking for a special ed teacher. We just hired a new band director, so he'll be starting next couple weeks and getting going with band camp. So, but yeah, the candidate pools, especially over the last couple of years, are getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
So worry about the younger generation going into teaching, and hope we see a change in that and get our numbers back up when we have openings. So
New athletic director as well.
Yep, new athletic director Scott Farley, and he's starting next Monday. So he's not getting much of a break. He wraps up at Jackson High on Friday and will be with us on Monday morning. So looking forward to that addition. And Ryan Hackworth did great things, and hated to see him leave. A good pickup for Columbia. But Scott will come in and do great things as well. So
very good. We actually have one of your former students here today.
Yeah.
Our intern, one of our summer interns, Carter Inocencio. It's his first day here today.
First day, yeah.
Good kid.
Great young man. Yep.
Was he good in science?
He was a great scientist, yes. He's a good student all the way around.
So to train kids are interested in making sure they're equipped for a career, since he's planning to be a film director, what do you tell someone in science why biology is important to his future?
Yeah, that's a great question. I always try to make sure that I'm giving the kids the tools they need that are going to go off and do sciences for a career, but also I'd like to make sure everybody in my class understands we're all going to be alive our whole life, and people you know are going to get sick, or you're going to need to go to the hospital, or you're going to be wondering like whose medical advice should I be following and who shouldn't. It's useful for everybody to understand basics of how their body works, and to me that's an easy way to get my hooks in kids, is to tell them, look, you probably know people that have had cancer, grandpa had a heart attack or whatever, like I'm going to show you how that works, and that's good information to know for everyone, not just people that are going into it for a living.
Steven Spielberg probably couldn't make Jurassic if he hadn't taken biology.
Yeah. A lot of my kids that are going off to do like art school, they all have to take an introductory anatomy class because you have to know how your body is hung together to be able to draw them convincingly. So that's interesting. There's lots of avenues where I can pique their interest and get them understanding why I think science is important.
Great. Well, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, it was great.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for taking good care of our kids, and congratulations on Teacher of the Month feature.
Yeah, thank you.
From Western High School, Principal Jared Vickers and biology teacher James Rissy. A lot more coming up on today's show. We've got events. In fact, that's all we're going to talk about the rest